All right, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Barak the Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone that rule well, that teach well, while learn is truth, 100% according to the Bible. I also want to say shalom to the elect, you few aquaf, you sisters out there that are sincere in your children. Shalom. All right. And in today's video, as you brothers and sisters can see, is going to be another update video from NY Prepper. You know, you got a lot of things happening over there in the Russia and Ukraine conflict, man. That war over there is constantly building up, man. Day by day is getting worse and worse over there, right along with what you got already happening over there in the Middle East with Israel and those Amalekites getting ready to attack each other. So, I mean, you know, the Lord is speeding up these things, man. These wars are beginning to increase and beginning to become more intense, man. And actually, how Bashim Yahushua is ultimately doing these things, man. You know, because I'm going to go to a precept before I even get into the video, you know, but this is Proverbs 21 and verse 1, because ultimately the Lord is the one that's in control of these leaders' mind, man, right? And he's controlling them and making them do the things in which it is that they're doing. He's controlling their actions. So it's the Lord that got these wars intensifying around the world, man, you know. And this is Proverbs 21 and 1, KJV. It said the king's heart, meaning his mind, right, is in the hands of the Lord. Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will, right? Because we know everything is in the Lord's will at the end of the day. You know, as it tells you in Proverbs 19 and 21, that there be many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord shall stand, right? And the Lord's counsel is ultimately to bring World War III about, man, which is a part of prophecy. And that's what we see all of these events occurring around the earth, ultimately leading up to, with all of these nations fighting against each other, warring back and forth, wars and rumors of wars. All of those are part of the signs, man, that we're getting closer and closer to the end of this place, man. So, you know, I'm going to get into this video so we can basically hear what it is that NY Prepper is saying, you know. And Lord's willing, I pray this video be edifying to you brothers and sisters that come across it, you know. But yeah, we're going to get into this video. But before I start, I want to say fair use on the 1976 Copyright Act. I'm not getting paid for this video. This is only for educational purposes only. So with that being said, fair use.
Guys, it's Greg here, aka NY Prepper. It is Sunday, June 1st, 2025, and I have a major emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now it is 16:10 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some very, very serious news coming out of Russia. So earlier this morning, Ukraine launched a massive drone attack on Russia's nuclear bomber fleet. They targeted most of Russia's nuclear bomber base.
Right. So you hear basically what it is that he just said, brothers and sisters, you know, that Ukraine basically just attacked Russia's nuclear bombers, man. And we know, if any of you brothers and sisters are familiar with Russia's nuclear doctrine, is that if their nuclear capabilities are under attack, that gives them use to ultimately, you know, deploy or to use one of these weapons, man. So like I said, we're just getting closer and closer to ultimately World War III breaking out, man. Like I said, it has already started, but there are stages to it. And we're beginning to see these stages intensify, you know. And I'm going to go to a precept right here, just touching on that, because you ultimately had just Donald Trump, you know, maybe 2 weeks ago, he was just talking about bringing a peace deal to Russia and Ukraine, right? And that's ultimately why you had Trump in the media saying that, you know, he's upset with Putin and Putin is a madman and things of that nature, you know, the things that Trump has said, because ultimately there was supposed to be an alleged peace deal that never came to pass, because as you can see, these countries are continuing to attack one another, because ultimately the Lord is not bringing peace upon his earth, man. That's not what's coming, even though that's what all of these people want to talk about and say and try to spread and push that narrative. That's not what the Lord wants to happen. You know, the Lord says in Matthew 10 and 34, think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword, man. That sword represents destruction, man. And that's what Yahweh Shem Yahushua is ultimately building up all of these things leading towards judgment, man. So this is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, right? But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. Verse 2, for yourselves know perfectly that the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night, right? And the Lord Yahushua is going to come like a thief, man, meaning unexpectedly. And that's the same way that all of these judgments and these nukes, when they begin to get shot off in the Third World War, they're going to come unexpectedly. These people are not going to be expecting it. It's just going to happen, right? In verse 3, it says, "For when they shall say peace and safety," right? Because that's what you see and ultimately being talked about a lot in the media and ultimately by Donald Trump. Nero, he's talking about that with all of these different countries around the world. You hear him trying to propose that to Israel and Iran. You hear him trying to do that with Russia and Ukraine. You hear him trying to do that with China and Taiwan. So, I mean, he's trying to get all of these nations to come together under one suit. But we're not in that time right now. Like I said before, the Lord is controlling and orchestrating all things, and he wants this judgment to come forth, man. He wants this third world's war to happen, man, right? Because it's all a part of prophecy. And it says, "For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape," right? And when something is suddenly, it's something that you don't really expect. And that's how it's going to be when Yahweh Hashem Yahushua allows this war to intensify, man. People are not going to be expecting it. It's just going to come out of nowhere, man. But that's why the Lord put the spirit on us, of course, as being watchmen, to be watching these events so that this day doesn't come upon us like a thief. Lord's will, we be able to elect. But we're watching all of these prophecies take place, man. And we seeing that, World War III is already here, man. Like I said, it already started. It's just stages and levels to it, and it's ultimately everything that's happening is building up to the ultimate push of that button, man, which is when those nukes are going to be shot off, So I'm going to get back into this video so just we can hear a little bit more of what it is he's saying, Bear with me.
And initial estimates are saying that Ukraine took out as many as 50% of Russia's nuclear bombers, guys. That is absolutely insane. Okay, so I want to share some of the latest information I have about that, and I will be monitoring the situation very, very closely this evening and tonight. And I do have a 24/7 live stream that is ongoing right now. You can tune in to listen to some of the latest breaking news from my great moderators, Ross, and other people in the chat posting the latest information. And we also have a major severe geomagnetic.
Well, we kind of got a gist of everything it is he was saying in the video, But yeah, basically, the Russia and the Ukraine conflict is constantly building up, so no peace is coming, man. Like I said, people that believe that stuff, you might as well get that thought out of your mind, man. What's coming is war, and we're living in that time, man, and nobody's going to stop it because this is ultimately the will of the Heavenly Father, man, to bring forth this judgment. Right. And I'm going to go to a precept just, further proving that Yahweh Shem Yahushua is ultimately the one that's controlling everything. Right. This is Isaiah 45:7. KJV, it says, "I form the light, right, and create darkness. I make peace and create evils," meaning bad times. "I, the Lord, do all these things," man. And we know that there's a time and season for everything under the sun, as it says in this precept I'm about to grab. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, and I'm gonna go straight to the point. Verse 8, it says, "A time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time for peace." And we're living in that time right now of war, man. And like I said, you can see it all throughout the earth brewing, seeing all of these countries that are ultimately, coming up against one another and that are fighting and that are at odds with one another, right? So all of these things, like I said before, is leading up to what's about to take place, man, right? Which is the Lord leading all of these nations to the valley of Jehoshaphat over there in that Middle East, Og, which is Russia, and all of these other countries, Babylon the Great, the EU, NATO, everybody that's going to fight in this war, all of these heathen nations, the Lord is ultimately, stirring up their minds to ultimately lead them into that valley, man, which proves more and more that we're getting closer and closer to the return of the Lord. But we know ultimately before that nuclear destruction takes place, that Mot B needs to be implemented. That's the main prophecy that we're waiting for now because we see everything else building up, but the MOTB has to hit the scene. And once that comes, then it's going to be official that, judgment is around the corner. But I'm going to read this precept. This St. Matthew 24:6. "And you shall have wars," right? You got wars that are actively taking place around the world, right? And rumors of wars, which are talks of wars. You got the little hats over there, the Amalekites basically preparing to strike Iran's nuclear facilities. Those are rumors of wars, man. And we know ultimately those rumors are going to turn into actual actions because the Lord is going to put the spirit on these nations to do his bidding, which is to carry out judgment, And it says, "See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet," right? And we know the end won't come until the MOTB is made mandatory. you know. So that's when those nukes are ultimately going to be shot off from all of these different directions, ultimately landing over here to this place, America, man, you know. So, you know, that's pretty much everything I had to say with today's video. Just a little quick update on things that were happening in the world, you know, as far as with the news or whatnot pertaining to the war. You know, till the next time, I'm going to say shalom.